What's up, everyone? My name's Tony, and I want to personally thank you for following us here at Mass Legends. So many legends and truly the best names, the names of our childhood, really. Hit subscribe and stay tuned as I have some awesome stories coming up in the coming weeks. You're about to embark on a journey through the unparalleled career of a man who didn't just play the game of professional bodybuilding, he fundamentally changed it. A man who, from the shadows of his quiet life in England, would emerge to dominate the sport, ushering in an era of raw, unprecedented muscle mass combined with granite hard conditioning. This is the story of Dorian Andrew Yates, the six-time Mr. Olympia, the Shadow.
Our story begins not under the bright lights of a bodybuilding stage, but in the unassuming surroundings of Hurley, a small farming community in England, where Dorian Yates was born on April 19, 1962. His early life was shaped by loss. At just 13 years old, his father died suddenly of a heart attack, a devastating event that prompted a move with his mother and sister to Walmley. This early tragedy, though not understood at the time, would prove to be a powerful, if subconscious, driving force in his relentless pursuit of success. He was a boy just hitting puberty, his male role model gone, and with it, a sense of anger and confusion, a feeling of being unlooked after. He learned to contain and hide his emotions, a trait that would later be evident in his stoic demeanor on the Mr. Olympia stage. He remembered biting his lip when he won his first Olympia, a default mechanism to suppress the overwhelming emotions within. This early adversity, coupled with a fiercely independent spirit, meant he had to grow up and look after himself remarkably quickly. By 16, he was out on his own, living at friends' houses, finding his own small place, with no one to fall back on. It was during these formative years, at the age of 18, that a youthful escapade with friends took an unexpected turn, leading to their arrest for indecent exposure. This resulted in a 6-month stint at a youth detention center, an experience that, paradoxically, would lay the foundation for his future empire. He had always been drawn to physical activity, having dabbled in weights at school, practiced karate, and done countless push-ups and squats in his room. In the detention center, hard physical exercise was part of the routine, and while many others disliked it, Dorian thrived. It became his escape, a positive outlet in a challenging environment. He quickly realized he possessed a naturally superior physique and was one of the strongest guys there. He just knew if he channeled his energy into something positive, he would get positive results back. Even the prison officers noticed, suggesting he pursue powerlifting. But Dorian had already seen the Joe Weider magazines. He was familiar with the bodybuilders within their pages. He knew his path was bodybuilding, not powerlifting. The figures in those magazines, the heroes he admired, became almost surrogate fathers, filling a void left by his own father's passing. Upon his release, the city housed him in a council flat on a notorious estate in Birmingham, a place few would accept. This humble abode would be his home for the first 5 years of his serious training. Despite the challenging circumstances, his dedication bore fruit almost immediately. After just a year and a half of consistent training, he entered a novice contest. He won it with such ease that judges and officials, including Ron Davis, a Mr. Olympia judge and head of the British Federation, were astonished. They questioned why he was even in the novice class, telling him he should be in the heavyweight division. Dorian, humble, insisted he wasn't good enough yet. Ron laughed. "You're not good enough. "Kid, you're the best heavyweight we've seen in this country." They wanted him to compete in the World Games the very next week as part of the British team. Though he felt unready, he was persuaded and placed a respectable 7th among the world's best amateurs. The following year, in 1986, he won the British Championship, a moment he vividly remembers. 2,000 people screaming, air horns blaring, cameras flashing. He was going to be in the magazines. But the reality check came swiftly upon returning home. No TV crews, no fanfare. Just back to his same block, no carpet on the floor, no proper bed, just a mattress. Every penny he earned from his work went to food, training, and bus fare. He had no car. All right, he told himself, I'm British champion. Technically, I can compete as a pro. I'm going to the Night of Champions, my first pro show. If I don't get in the top 5, I'm finished. Finished with competitive bodybuilding. His professional debut at the Night of Champions in New York was a revelation. As he did his posing, a hush fell over the audience, then slowly the chants began. Dorian, Dorian, Dorian. They were asking, who is this guy? He finished second to Mohammed Benaziza, but his unique physique had made its mark. He was invited to Venice, California for shoots with Joe Weider's magazines at Gold's Gym. Every bodybuilder's dream. Then came a truly life-altering offer. Vince McMahon of WWE fame was launching the World Bodybuilding Federation, and Tom Platz, one of Dorian's heroes, was spearheading it. They offered Dorian a staggering $170,000 a year to join their federation. It was an astronomical sum for someone who had nothing, but the Mr. Olympia was every bodybuilder's ultimate dream. To accept the WBF offer meant giving up on that dream. It was a tough decision, but Dorian, with unwavering faith in himself, turned down the money. He believed he would earn that and more if he stuck to his path and won the Mr. Olympia. He came back the following year and won the Night of Champions, showing significant improvement. The thought began to stir, both in his mind and in the minds of others. Maybe this guy can take Lee Haney. His mental approach shifted from revering the reigning Mr. Olympia to a ruthless self-belief. It's 2 arms, 2 legs, lifts weights, he reasoned, and one thing I can guarantee, he does not train as hard as me. By the 1991 Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney had already amassed 7 Sandow trophies, and an 8th before retirement seemed a foregone conclusion. But Dorian, making his Olympia debut, was not there to hand over the win. He was psychologically prepared, brimming with self-belief. During prejudging, the whispers started. Dorian Yates from England, pound for pound, was the only one who could truly challenge Haney. Dorian, still practicing his mind games, would be the last to take off his tracksuit backstage, knowing everyone was waiting. He even recounted a time when Lee Haney, in a similar power play, revealed his back, super thick, leaving Dorian thinking, oh shit. The Englishman emerged to the biggest cheer of the contest since his Night of Champions win. He had packed on another 5 pounds, a 240-pound marvel with improved delt width and thickness, a thicker upper back, larger arms and chest, and an improved taper from a more streamlined waist and considerably thicker lats. The audience roared through each compulsory pose, anticipating the man-to-man showdown with Haney. So far ahead were they, that the judges kept only the 2 of them on stage for the final comparison. Dorian had to shed his fan persona and embrace a ruthless, competitive mindset. He recalled a story later found to be untrue about Haney being a bully on stage, trying to intimidate competitors. Dorian got psyched up. When they were called out, just the 2 of them, Dorian deliberately bumped his elbow into Haney, letting him know, I'm here. And in the pose down, when Haney clipped him with his knuckle during a pose, Dorian, with a subtle return, let him know the feeling was mutual. Despite winning the muscularity round, Haney topped him in posing and symmetry, securing his record-breaking 8th Mr. Olympia title. Dorian placed second in a closely fought battle, a result that, upon Haney's retirement, immediately signaled Dorian's arrival as the man to beat in 1992. To rocket to second place in his first Olympia was unheard of, a testament to the raw potential he possessed. The 1992 Mr. Olympia would witness a transformation no one could have foreseen, thanks in part to a pivotal encounter in 1991. While in Venice, Dorian was introduced to Mike Mentzer, a man he had admired from his early days in bodybuilding, not just for his powerful physique, but for his intellect. Mentzer, in turn, had been motivated by seeing Dorian's photographs and reading his articles, recognizing a rare intellect in the young bodybuilder. Dorian found Mentzer's high-intensity training HIIT theory, influenced by Arthur Jones, utterly logical, resonating with his own methodical, analytical mind. In fact, Dorian was so meticulous, he had every single workout from 1983 to 1997 meticulously documented, with notes on weights, reps, and monthly goal checks. Before the 1992 Olympia, he began to fully adopt HIIT principles, even training with Mike Mentzer at Gold's Gym. Dorian, a clear disciple of HIIT, embraced Mentzer's advice on both intensity and the number of sets. Initially, this meant one set to absolute failure, later evolving to several warm-up sets followed by 1 to 2 working sets to complete failure. This was a radical departure from the stimulate, don't annihilate philosophy promoted by his predecessor, Lee Haney. Dorian's training was so hardcore that even seasoned pros like Chris Cormier struggled to keep up. His insane intensity was dramatically showcased in his iconic 1996 Blood and Guts video. Unlike the sanitized, staged workout videos of the time, Dorian wanted to show the authentic, brutal reality of his training. He instructed his photographer friend Kevin Horton to simply capture the workout as it happened, without lights or talking, focusing on the intensity, the weights, and the raw feeling. He wanted people to watch it and be pumped, to rush to the gym immediately. With a dialed-in, intense training protocol and Lee Haney out of the picture, Dorian was poised to begin his Olympia domination. He felt exceptionally pleased with his preparation, having improved in every aspect from the previous year, not just his physique but his presentation as well. He was brimming with confidence, eager to display his progress. In the Helsinki Ice Hall in Finland, Dorian stepped on stage weighing roughly 260 pounds. He presented an unprecedented combination of massive size and conditioning so extreme that his muscle fibers were visible, a level of leanness now famously known as grainy. When Dorian walked onto that stage, the bodybuilding world collectively gasped. This level of mass, this kind of size had simply never been seen before. Dorian had changed the game. He had ushered in the era of the mass monster, a concept that would forever redefine the aesthetic of bodybuilding. While names like Lee Labrada, Sean Ray, Lou Ferrigno, and the new sensation Kevin Levrone, who had just won the Night of Champions, were also formidable contenders, none could match Dorian's unique blend of mass and conditioning. After the showdown, Lee Labrada placed third, a respectable showing but unable to rival the top two. Kevin Levrone, despite his aesthetics and well-developed delts, biceps, and chest, was no match for Dorian's sheer muscularity, particularly in his back, and lower body. The Shadow easily claimed the #1 spot, confirming the promise of the previous year and finally becoming Mr. Olympia. "This is my dream, a dream that's come true," he declared. "I owe so much to the sport of bodybuilding, and I hope as Mr. Olympia I can give back to the sport." He began training for the next Mr. Olympia the very next week, always staying one step ahead. If 1992 was Dorian's career turning point, 1993 would be his breakthrough year. A period where he would so dramatically distance himself from the competition that the Olympia would become a battle for second place. His newly unveiled physique would send shockwaves throughout the bodybuilding world. He could have come in bigger in 1992, but he was obsessed with combining the size of a heavyweight with the conditioning of a smaller, lighter bodybuilder. He had sacrificed some size in 92 to bring in that super ripped condition, knowing Haney wasn't competing and he could still beat the others on size, even if he was a little smaller. Looking back, he realized he had sacrificed too much muscle. He wouldn't make that mistake again. The result was what many considered the pinnacle of bodybuilding, epitomized by the iconic black and white photographs taken by Kevin Horton. These photos, initially just for Dorian's personal reference, were accidentally seen by Peter McGough, the British editor of Flex magazine. McGough, knowing the impact they would have, casually dropped them on a table when the California-based bodybuilders visited the wider offices. The demoralized looks on their faces confirmed his intuition. From that point, Dorian recounted, everyone was looking to get second place, and that was first for them. They were mentally beaten before the contest even began. In the Atlanta Civic Center in Georgia, a formidable lineup of athletes, including Sean Ray, Lee Labrada, Kevin Levrone, and the new challenger Flex Wheeler, fresh off wins at the Ironman Invitational and Arnold Classic, prepared to challenge the reigning champion. Flex Wheeler, with his incredible symmetry and shape, offered a stark contrast to Dorian's density and size, making the 1993 Olympia a must-see event. In 1992, Dorian was still a new face, some considering his win a potential one-hit wonder. But 1993 was the year Dorian declared his undeniable presence. He presented a physique that no one had ever expected. Improved muscle mass combined with the grainy conditioning he was known for, making him appear like a giant from another planet. While there were other big guys, none combined mass and shredding like Dorian. The judges placed Dorian, Flex Wheeler, and Sean Ray in the top three. While Sean presented a respectable physique, Flex was the only true contender, with cartoonish muscle roundness, proportion, and separation. Yet, even with his incredible aesthetics, he was no match for Dorian's muscularity, which, despite his incredible showing, not everyone was thrilled. Dorian faced criticism for his bubble gut and what was deemed excessive muscularity, with Arnold Schwarzenegger himself being one of his most vocal critics. Arnold, championing the golden age of bodybuilding, believed the sport was prioritizing mass over symmetry and aesthetics, calling for stricter drug testing. He criticized Dorian for embodying this mass monster look, lamenting that bodybuilders no longer looked as pleasing as the Steve Reeves of old. But Dorian was unyielding, forging his path, forever altering the sport's trajectory. Dorian's domination continued, leading to 6 consecutive Mr. Olympia titles from 1992 to 1997. He earned the nickname The Shadow, not just for his tendency to appear unexpectedly at contests and win, but for his reclusive nature between shows. He was out of the public eye, meticulously building his physique in his temple gym in Birmingham, avoiding the California spotlight. He was the first of the mass monsters, combining enormous muscle mass with peak granite hardness conditioning. His career, though glorious, was ultimately cut short by severe injuries, including torn biceps and triceps. The triceps tear occurred just 3 weeks before his final contest, the 1997 Mr. Olympia, which he nevertheless won amidst controversy, with many believing runner-up Nasser El Sunbati deserved the title. Dorian believed his injuries were a result of his unwavering, extreme training intensity, maintained year-round even when cutting weight. He is one of only 4 men to retire as a reigning Mr. Olympia, a testament to his untouchable reign. Dorian's post-competition career has been as industrious as his bodybuilding one. In 1987, he purchased Temple Gym in Birmingham, later franchising several locations, though today only the original, now relocated, remains. In 1994, he joined forces with Mike and Ray Menser to form Heavy Duty Inc., a company marketing athletic apparel and bodybuilding books. He then partnered with Kerry Kays in 1998 to create C&P Professional, a supplement company. He left C&P in 2006 to launch his own successful ventures, Dorian Yates Ultimate Formulas, EU Peptides, and DY Nutrition, all specializing in various supplements and training resources. Beyond the business world, Dorian's personal life reflects his continued intellectual curiosity and openness to unconventional paths. He lives in Marbella with his wife, Gloscal Ferreira, a Brazilian fitness model whom he met at the 2008 Arnold Classic. He practices yoga and meditation daily, describing them as life-altering experiences. He's also been open about his cannabis use, advocating for its legalization for both its relaxing properties and unproven anti-cancer claims. He has even endorsed the use of psychedelics like ayahuasca for spiritual purposes. Dorian Yates, with his imposing competition weight of 265 pounds at 5 feet 11, possessed a physique defined by its sheer density and thickness. His 55-inch chest, 30-inch thighs, 34-inch waist, 22-inch calves, and 21-inch upper arms were the hallmarks of the mass monster era he pioneered. His unprecedented run of victories, from his first Mr. Birmingham novice win in 1984 to his final Mr. Olympia triumph in 1997, etched his name indelibly in bodybuilding history. He brought a level of dedication and intensity that few could match, transforming the sport with his sheer will and unwavering commitment. As Flex Wheeler once said, "I never saw Dorian as beatable." He wasn't just a winner, he was a game changer. The man who truly brought out the bigness and size in bodybuilding, forcing competitors to fight for second place for 6 years. From a young man navigating personal tragedy and trouble on the streets of England, Dorian Yates became the ultimate embodiment of an extreme vision, a testament to the power of relentless self-belief and an unyielding commitment to forge one's own path, even if it meant becoming the shadow.